But I feel like there's a certain degree of as people, like, you know, the amount of destruction this bomb is going to do, and like, that's huge. Like, it's huge, and obviously, like, the point was a big enough, like, shock that they stop and come to the table, right?
Right.
But man, what if they didn't? Especially when you take into account, and obviously I don't know how much of the, like, facts on the ground the pilot had, right? But we know now that roughly 90% of the casualties in at least Hiroshima were civilians. So,
and that begs the question: if we're bombing mostly civilians, what made that our best option? Like what was going on? And I know that we weren't there at the time, but you know, what was going on that made that the best alternative?
Well, I think like we kind of touched on earlier, is like, we needed. So let's kind of back up. Let's take a look at the 30,000 foot view. It's August of 1945. The war in the European theater ended with Germany's unconditional surrender in April of 1945. So we're now months past the end of the war in the European theater. We're still fighting the Pacific. We're fighting hard. There's heavy casualties on both sides. You know, we're at a point where we're like, this war should be over, and it's not. And we're still dealing with Japan and all the stuff that comes along with that. And by this point, I think that we're at a point of where it's like, this needs to end. And the only way that we determined that we could end it was with something big enough that would shock not just the people, but the government and really the world. And that goes, okay, hang on, we got to do something so this doesn't keep happening.
Well, and it's not like Japan was innocent.
Well, exactly.
And you know, and I hate to say this because it's war, right? And this is maybe a moot point, but you know, in the United States, we're focused on freedom and individual rights and everything. America has a very heavy emphasis on humanity and the value of humanity,
personal freedom and personal rights.
Up until then, all through history, that's been an afterthought. That's been not even a consideration. So Japan, in their war against China, they had killed 14 million Chinese since 1937. But I don't know what percentage, but a huge percentage of that were civilians. They had just murdered, just slaughtered the Chinese. And that's not even to mention the fact that they were the aggressors against us. We had been staying out of that war altogether up until Pearl Harbor. So it's not like the Japanese were innocent party. And you could maybe even argue that drastic action was necessary to try to minimize further civilian deaths in China and other parts of Asia. But still, it's a hefty thought to think that you're bombing mostly just, you know, your average Japanese civilian. It's a
yeah, but I think
I don't know if I would ever get over the guilt of pushing that button. Wowza, that was a great clip. If you want to see more great clips, subscribe to the channel and follow us everywhere. If you need a haircut, we can help with that, but you'll be going back for a different kind of great clips, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry. I just had to.